Hello, welcome back to Fred in the Shed. I'm back up in the Radio Shack. Now, a few weeks ago, I tested this tiny little 20 centimetre active loop antenna from Dishaboo. This was the GA800. And when I did that video, a few of you left comments, thank you very much, and you said, Fred, we've got the Dishaboo GA800, which is a larger loop, it's 26 centimetres. It's automatically tunes for you, and we think that's a better buy. Would you test that? So yeah, no problem. So on the strength of this review, I got back into contact with Dishaboo, and I said, would you send me the GA800? They said, yep, no problem. So in this video, that's what we're going to be having a look at, the GA800 automatic active loop antenna. So let's crack into the box. Now, this antenna claims to have 20% extra noise control compared to the smaller loop, and that's what you want really with a loop antenna. You really want to be able to knock out that local noise. So straight away, just got an instruction little leaflet here, nice colour picture. I'm assuming you just switch this on and that's how it works. There's no tuning pot to tune on this one, it's all automatic. It just goes through the parameters, shows you an SDR, so, which is what most people are using these for. Also says that the antenna, it can be used outside, it can be connected to a pole. But I don't believe it's waterproof. I think if you did that, you'd have to use some of that amalgamation tape and make sure that you waterproof it. Nicely packed, of course, no problem there. Very nicely packed, actually. So this is the loop itself. Now, as you can see straight away, 26 centimetres. It's quite a bit bigger than the little 450. So straight away, you're getting the gain advantage. Same idea. We've got a little BNC connector. It doesn't have an LED light. Did you have one? No, the 400 didn't have that. So we have a little LED. Now, this is battery powered. It has an 18650 cell, 2600 mAh. So it should give you quite a long runtime. I've got to charge this before I use it. What else we got in the box? So this is the main body itself, very similar to the 450, but obviously we haven't got that tuning pot. This is an automatic tuning device, and we just simply have an on-off button there. So we've got some power. And I'm assuming, because it doesn't actually say on this instruction book, it doesn't really say how you use it, so I'm assuming that you just switch that on and tune around the ring and lose the interference, hopefully. And that's how it works. Not much on here really. There's another BNC connector on the back, 5 volt USB-C. I assume there's a power connector, it's charging lead, there will be. Specifications on the back. So this antenna has a larger tuning range than the 450, all the way down from 10 kilohertz and then up to 159 megahertz, so just below the marine band, and of course it's a 50 ohm antenna. Okay, so what else have we got in the box here? A few plastic bags. Yeah, 5 volt USB-C, pretty standard. And then we've got a few connection leads here. So straight away here we've got a BNC to a mono 3.5 jack. Very useful for small little shortwave radios that switch can connect an outside antenna. Also the RF 919, the big shortwave radios. Again, that's the connection that they need. That's absolutely fine. Then we have it's like a female BNC to female BNC lead. A longer, I should really look how long these leads are. My probably does tell me somewhere, but bear with me. A much longer lead here. So this is obviously a male BNC to female BNC. So you can sort of, you can stretch this antenna away from your radio. It's a good idea if you're going to use it indoors to get it close to a window and try and get away from any electrical appliances that will cause you interference. So there's something else in the box which is very useful. That is a BNC to SMA, and if you're going to be using an SDR dongle, you're going to need one of these to connect that to your dongle. Brilliant. Right, let's set it up and see how it looks. There we go, that's it fitted together. So when you look at the two antennas, you can definitely see the size difference here, 20 v 26. It still feels stable. Doesn't seem to want to fall over, so that base is holding it. Now we've got a second LED in this one, haven't we? So when I switch this on, yeah, there you go. So you've now got two LEDs giving you an indication that it's receiving a signal, because this is a amplified antenna. You do get about 20 decibels of gain compared to a static antenna. And also that second light, if you were to detach this loop and you decided to put it outside on a pole, it's quite useful having that light to know that you've made a good connection. So obviously the question is, Fred, you know, why do I need to buy a loop antenna? Well, what's the advantage? I can just use the little SMA telescopic whip antennas that came with my radio. They seem to work fine. And yeah, these are really, really good actually. I mean, as when it comes down to gain, one of these antennas fully extended, it probably is going to produce the same amount of gain as one of these amplified loop antennas. And if you take your shortwave radio listening seriously, and to be honest with you, I don't, I'm a casual listener, but you should have a long wire stretched out in your garden anyway, and that should give you plenty of gain. No, where these come into their own is interference. Now, obviously, we're surrounded by electronics in our homes nowadays. It's just a way of life unless you're off grid. I mean, you know, LED lights are really bad in your home. Chinese plug-in wall socket power supplies, laptop power supplies, you name it. I mean, we've got it. And if you've got solar panels on your roof as well and you've got an inverter, they're really bad at producing nasty QRM, man-made noise. And this is where the tuned loop antenna comes in, because it's very, very good at rejecting all of that interference, all of that noise, because it is tuned to a certain frequency. And obviously the cheaper 450, you have a tuning control, and on the 800 it's supposedly done for you. You just press one button and it will automatically tune. It's also directional to a degree, so once again you can turn this and you can home in, you can tune in to the broadcast signal. That's the theory anyway. And I think in fairness, that's generally what they do. I did notice an improvement with the 450 there. It was a little bit fiddly trying to get that tuning pot spot on, and that's where this one should be an advantage, because I'm hoping what's going to happen is that when I push the button there, it's going to automatically tune to the frequency that I want. So I think we'll test this as a casual listener, as I am. So we'll go downstairs, we'll set it up in a window with a shortwave radio, and we'll have a play around, see what we can pick it up. And then later on, I'll take it out into the garden if it's not raining, and then we'll test it outside. So let's crack on with that. This is a typical setup on a nice sunny day, so I do apologise for the reflections that you'll see in a moment. And as you can see, just got the mag loop here on the table, and then the antenna fully extended on the radio. So to start with, I've chosen a very weak station on purpose, and when I show you the loop working in a moment, you'll see that the LNA really does boost the signal, but the downside of that is you don't get nothing for nothing, because it does pick up another station in the background. So I think you will agree with me on a weak station with the built-in LNA. The loop does bring in a stronger signal, but it doesn't go all the loop's way. What I'm going to do now is tune into a stronger signal, and you'll see that the radio's built-in antenna, especially when you use the radio's superb built-in antenna tuner, it's more selective, and the loop brings in a little bit too much gain, and you can hear another station underneath.
The National Meteorological Center continued to issue a blue alert for rainstorms and forecast that from Sunday to Monday, torrential rains will sweep vast parts of China, including provinces in the south like and those in the north like Hebei.
Wow.
Rescuers have retrieved at least 8 bodies and found and brought a few other people to safety after rain-triggered flash floods in southwest China left dozens of people missing. The disaster occurred on Saturday morning in a village in Hanyuan County, Sichuan Province. Authorities say hundreds of rescuers are working in the affected areas for the partial restoration of roads and communication. BNC has more from Hanyuan County.
We found that about 1,500 people from Xinhua village was affected because of the rainstorm and the flood, and about 60 kilometers of roads were blocked. As for the local rescue forces, the authority has already dispatched 23 professional teams into the area, including firefighters, police officers, armed police, medical workers, and also...
For the next test, I've moved a bit far away from the house, and I've put the loop up on a pole about 3 meters high. Quite useful that you can see the little red light to let you know that it's working. So this should, in theory, improve the reception. Getting it higher should reduce any local noise. And here's my setup just in the garden with the radio and a pair of headphones. So we'll have a little flick around. The conditions are pretty poor today, unfortunately, but we'll see what we get.
Bye-bye, QLZ, Tango Mexico 37, Japan Oscar. 901, Charlie Delta 45, Bravo Express.
Voyage, mais expérimentait plus ce filon de cuisine et de goût. Mais aussi, ça reste une ville...
For everybody. I think it's also a chance to, I think it's a very exciting next phase as well, and I think the balance between private and public sector again has been very, very clear, but perhaps the younger generation.
На площі Святого Петра у Ватикані не покидати похилих віком людей. Покинення літніх людей – це справді сумна реальність, до якої ми не повинні звикати, наголосив він. Для багатьох з них
very independent, but perhaps very, very importantly and very interestingly, very, very rooted in its identity, in its Chinese heritage, and the desire to contribute to the further economic development, modernization, and integration and inclusivity.
Yediğimiz içtiğimiz ayrı gitmez. Español en el fútbol.
Ya lo hacen antes el himno nacional español.
God and give glory to Him. That's the written period in Revelation chapter 14, where God is telling us ahead of time that there would be a clear pronunciation by the mouth of a prophet sent for this hour concerning the hour. Isn't that something? I really never caught it too much before today, but it has overwhelmed me because I've been questioned again and challenged again by this generation. No man knows the day nor the hour. That's right. No natural man. The natural man will never come to meet him. How would you know if God didn't tell you? How would you understand? And then he says you...
Oh, he's cut off in mid-flow. We'll just turn him down then. So, yeah, I mean, it does pick up more stations when it's on the pole and an aeroplane goes overhead. Let's let that clear. That's better. So, yeah, I do think you get more stations when you raise it up on a pole. Propagation at the moment is really, really poor. I'm getting very little on sideband. I'm getting nothing at all on sideband on a wire. I've got a little bit with the loop. Performance wise, it's a little better on a pole. You do get more, you receive more stations, but it's not that much difference to when you've got it on the stand, you know, on a desk. But the difference is, and I couldn't really demonstrate it, but let me get under the antenna here. So the difference is I suffer a lot from medium wave bleed over from the Radio 2 transmitter at Brookman's Park, but I was able, just by very carefully rotating the loop, I was able to completely knock that out, and that's something that you can't do with a wire. Once you put up a wire, you just get everything. So it's very selective, very tunable and very directional. So in that respect, it really worked. It's a good lot of fun as well. You can try it on different heights. I mean, I've gone up about 3 meters, I suppose, but you could put it down lower. Obviously, the lower you go, then the more local interference you're likely to get. Very nice if you was out in the open. Anyway, we've had some fun, haven't we? Whilst I had the looping for testing, I was also really fortunate to have an Exigu 6200 radio. So we thought we'd connect the loop up and then we'd see how it sounds. Amplified LNA high-end antenna that came from radio. Banggood. And yeah, I was quite surprised.
Каких случаев в Китае принято обязательно есть меньшал?
Да, я слышал, что специальную лапшу подают человеку.
I believe that I can understand where they're coming from, because the nickel band basically will actually affect their stainless steel industry, right? So
now Charlie Tango 1, Quebec, Papa, Queen, Portugal. QSL, you are 5 and 5, QSL 55. QSL. Thank you, QSL, thank you. You are 5 and 5 also.
Yeah, GA6, GA5. You are 5 and 3 now.
Echo Delta, hello, you're 5-9. Name is Boyan. Bravo, Oscar, Yankee, Alpha, November. South Coast, over. Mike, Florida, you're 5-9 with very strong QR November. My name is Boyan. Bravo, Oscar, Yankee, Alpha, November. Boyan, South Coast, over.
There you go then, that is the GA800 26 centimetre loop antenna. Now as far as the auto tuning part goes, it does seem to work. I mean, it certainly boosts the signal. When you switch it on, you've got a light that comes on under the loop itself, so there's obviously some electronics in there. Now normally what happens with an ATU unit is when you transmit, you hear a lot of clicking until it tunes in. Obviously this is a receiving antenna, so you don't get that. I don't know, it will take someone with a little bit more grey matter than I've got maybe to strip one of these down and work out how the auto tune works. It certainly does boost the signal, and it doesn't boost the noise. It's not just like a plain amplifier that boosts everything. So something's going on, but how it works, I don't know. Anyway, that's it. If you're interested in this antenna and you want to check it out a little bit further, I will leave a link in the description below, and you go away and have a look. As always, I'll rattle the tree and see if anything falls out, and if I can get you a discount on this, there'll be a discount code in the description. I'll always try. But I think that's really about it. As always, thumbs up from Fred in the Shed. Thank you very much for your view time. I do really appreciate it. And yeah, please look after each other, stay safe, and stay tuned for the next video. Cheers, guys.